What's going on, Brooklyn? This is your host, Jaiden at Kingsborough Community College. This is Couch Potatoes. It's 1:30 here at Kingsborough Community College. We are going to get into Couch Potatoes right now, guys. I have a special guest, so I'm going to let him introduce himself.
The one, the only, you know who it is, your registrar, Avery Mullen, a.k.a. The Process. What's going on, brother Jaiden?
All right, I'm doing well. It's been a long time since you've been hiding from me, so I have to get you on here as we get these topics.
I've been
hiding from me.
That's what you're saying?
And I can promise you, I have calls, I have receipts to get him on here, so I get someone to talk to me about this. But I'm
a busy guy, man.
That's true. He's a busy guy. I believe
busy guy.
But we're gonna get into some stuff right now, right?
Let's do it.
So we have a finals, right? No one expected this finals. I'm pretty sure you didn't expect this. You didn't expect this to see what you're gonna see. You didn't expect that.
OKC, yeah. The Pacers, no.
Mm-hmm.
Pacers, no.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not the Pacers.
For Indiana, I just want to go into the keys of the series, the key player that I would say is going to make or break this series. So I'm going to let you go first. You think who you think is going to – because I honestly think OKC might run away with this bad. So if you're gonna give me a player, both teams, that can just, make this a series, what's the player?
No, but wait. So I think the better question is, let's take away the obvious key players, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to take away SGA. We're going to take away Halliburton, right? Let's just say we already know that we expecting those guys to make an impact, right?
Okay.
And I know why you're saying home before, because Halliburton sometimes is inconsistent. I know why you're saying that. Mm-hmm. But if there are key players on each side, all right, starting with OKC, I'm going to tell you it's going to be Hartenstein. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm going to say that, it's going to be Hartenstein, it's going to be Chet. And the reason why is because, let's think about it. What did the Pacers do well against the Knicks? Or what didn't they do well against the Knicks?
They pushed the
But they didn't rebound, to me, in my opinion, right? The reason why they pushed the pace, because they're not a good rebounding team. Okay. So for OKC, Hartenstein has to be the guy to get boards, mm-hmm. right? Chet has got to get boards. Mm-hmm. If you give up boards, long rebounds to the Pacers, what happens? They run.
They run.
So
miss and make.
Yeah. So for me, we know Jalen Williams is going to get busy. SGA is going to get busy. For the most part, they have those other role players. The guys off the bench, I forgot number 21's name. Some dreads from OKC.
Case and Wallace.
Those guys are pivotal, but to me, this is about rebounding. Mm-hmm. You keep Indiana off the boards, you keep them from running. Mm-hmm. For Indiana, it's kind of the same thing. Miles Turner got to stay out of foul trouble. Mm-hmm. But I think the guy that makes them go with that second unit, it's probably going to be McConnell to me.
Backup guard.
Because the issue then becomes, how do you hide McConnell on defense, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to be the Energizer Bunny, right, off the bench. But how do you hide him on defense? Mm-hmm. They're going to have to play a zone against OKC, in my opinion. He can't play straight up against Shy. Who's he going to play defense against? So it can get a little quirky. So I think McConnell, I think Miles Turner, those guys are pivotal on that end. I think Hartenstein and I think Chet are the pivotal players. I think those players are going to shape the series.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if we're going to take out, because I was going to go, the only reason I was going to go the route of Halliburton, not even because of him being the star.
Okay.
I was going to go route of him because OKC's defense, we've seen, is one of the best defense in recent history.
They're handsy.
They don't let you, they get up in you, they close the gaps, you're not going to really do much against them if they have a set half-court defense.
Roger that.
So because of that, what are the Pacers good at? Pushing the pace. So the one way you cannot go up against a set defense is pushing the pace and always going after miss and make. So that's exactly what they did against the Knicks. The one thing that they're very good at is pushing the pace. So if Halliburton is pushing the pace for the full time he's in the game, that's just the best chance they have. Because going up against their set defense, I don't see them doing much with it. So they're going to have to really take it to them and just make sure the pace is in their favor.
That's the only way they're going to be able to do that.
Exactly.
Because one thing we learned in the Knicks series, the game, which is so odd, the game that the Knicks won, I believe it was Game 5 in New York, they did not let Halliburton just run the offense. Mm-hmm. They picked them up.
Mikal Bridges picked them up.
And they were like, no, you're not just going to sit over here, dribble the air out of the ball and run offense. I think OKC schematically a better defensive game plan for
Yep,
that.
yep. Way
and I
different
think they
team.
have the horses to control him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go as far as you going saying they're going to run away with it. That I'm not going to do. I don't think it's that. But I will say I'm not going to make a prediction. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it.
We'll get into that later. Yeah, for sure. I just think I know OKC's like they're not the Knicks, and then credit to the Knicks. The Knicks are a.
You had to throw that.
Listen,
a Knicks fan.
I'm not a Knicks fan. Listen, but I root for you guys. Trust me.
I'm not a Knicks fan. Let's be very clear.
I root for New York. We live in New York. I root for you.
100%.
Especially, I was looking to see if we went to the finals game. I was going to go to Manhattan and be in that crowd. I was going to see.
It definitely felt like a death. Yeah, New York definitely felt like somebody died.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it was a shot. And I root for you guys, and I root for New York fans everywhere. You have been through a lot. 50 plus years since the championship.
Roger.
1973.
Roger.
It's been a lot. 25 years, I believe, since the last finals appearance. Reggie Miller, they did the whole choke thing with Halliburton. It was a lot. A lot of mentally taxing situations happened.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's just like, I feel like with the Pacers, they're a good basketball team. They have a great bench. They have good players that you rely on up and down. But they just don't rely. The OKC is just like a better version of them. Because on their bench, they're just better. And on both ends, too.
I think, and I don't want to say knock, but the thing about Indiana, where I don't think anybody put them in the finals, right?
Nope.
They don't have that guy, right?
Yeah.
Their offense is not predicated on a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense is predicated on movement, on pace. I get it, but I think the lack of credit that the Pacers do not get makes
them dangerous, right?
They have Rick Carlisle's a hell of a coach.
Yes.
So again, I think you start talking about, schematically. I was talking about OKC's defense. Mm-hmm. Schematically, the way Rick Carlisle plays chess, I think
because he got the best offense too. Best offense, so
he can, in my opinion. I wouldn't be shocked if Indiana took this 6 or 7 games. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think OKC is running away with this. I just think that if you look at it wholly, OKC has the elite player out of both teams. You know what I mean? And one could argue that OKC has 2 of the most elite players, right now in Jalen Williams. And I'm not going to say he's like a superstar or anything like that, but I think right now playing in the playoffs, he's been playing the league basketball.
Yeah. I just look at their bench and I'm like, Alex Caruso might be the best defender on that team. And he's not even starting.
He might be one of the best defenders in the league.
And he's not even starting. Remember that. They bring him off the bench.
Yeah.
Case and Wild, same thing. He's a young, scrappy defender that gets up in you.
Right.
Like there's no weakness. Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, they're 7 feet.
Again, listen, Siakam's battle tested. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he's played on a championship team. Mm-hmm. He's played at a championship level. I don't think Miles Turner's a pushover, so to speak. I think what Miles Turner can do is he can stretch the floor. So depending on what type of defense OKC is going to play, are they going to bring Hartenstein out to defend him at the top of the key? You can't give him an open look.
They're going to have to stretch him out.
Right?
That's the only hope they really have.
But what are we playing? Are we playing a zone? Are we playing man-to-man? What are we doing here?
I'm okay. If I'm the Pacers, I'm just not letting Shea beat me because I know he can. I'd rather let Jalen Williams go for 30 foot. Let him take the shots. I would much rather know that I took away Shea and the rest of them beat me.
That's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done. But my thing is, I know that Shea can take me out this series. I know he can. We've seen him do it to everyone else coming up to this point. So my thing is, if I'm the Pacers, anyone but him. And that's my best opportunity.
Yeah, I have the other psychology. He's like Brunson for the most degree. And I'm not comparing them as players. What I'm saying is guys like that are going to get off. Mm-hmm. No matter what you do to them, they're going to get off. Mm-hmm. So, in my mind, he can beat me. Nobody else can, in my mind. So, you can't have a night where Thomas Bryant comes off the bench like for Indiana and hits 4 3-pointers in a quarter. Mm-hmm. That guy can't beat me. Mm-hmm. I'll let Halliburton beat me. I'll let Shai beat me, right? Those guys, but you got to put up 60 in order to beat me. Yeah. So I'm going to let SGA get off. I'm not letting the others get off. I think Jaylen Brown's the guy you don't want to get off. Because I'm going to tell you this. If SGA gets his typical 27 to 35 points,
Right.
and Jaiden gets another 30, Indiana doesn't stand a chance.
And another thing with Shea, he's going to get to the line. And he's going to get your best defender in foul trouble. So once that happens, it just messes up your whole game plan even more. So it's just, he's going to get to the line. He's going to.
Who's going to guard him? Nembhard?
Neesmith. I think they put Neesmith on him because he's bigger, he's longer. I think Nembhard's a little bit smaller. And, SGA's 6'6". Like, he's bigger guy. And he's pushing people off of him. He's not even that built, but he's dashing people aside. Like, I'm thinking they go Naismith. Then once, if he gets in foul trouble, then the next best thing is Nembhard, But it's going to be rough. Like, there's no matchup.
Nobody can guard SGA. We know that.
No,
nobody can guard him.
No.
I think it's, again, one of the things that I like what the Pacers did. Guys like SGA, guys like Brunson, you got to make those guys work on both sides of the court. So, he's going to get off offensively. Defensively, you got to make him work. Right. Boston let Brunson off the hook, right? To some degree, in my opinion, I feel like, I want to say that SGA got let off the hook a little bit too defensively. He wasn't asked to play a lot of defense in that series. Yeah. So, this is gonna be a great series.
Okay, so let's go. Let's transition then. Let's say if OKC does win, right? Now let's play both sides. OKC wins.
Copy.
Shea's at Finals MVP, as we could presume that would probably happen that way.
Copy.
Is he the best player in the game now?
I mean, I think you get that all the time. That changes every year.
Right.
I keep saying this, like, you can't. There's no greatest player of all time. There's greatest players of generation. This year, he won MVP. If he leads that team, an OKC team, which is not really compromised of stars per se, to win the finals, he's got to have the what Tatum had last year as being the best or one of the best players in the league. I think you can argue right now. I think it's arguable. Him and Joker are neck and neck as far as being the best player in the league.
Right.
He absolutely. I don't even think it's a conversation. I don't think it's a conversation.
With SGA, see, I had him for MVP this year, right?
At the beginning of the season, you had him for MVP.
I had him throughout. Honestly, throughout. Honestly, I had him throughout. Listen. I had SGA for MVP. Listen, he averaged 32 a game. He's on the best best record in the NBA.
I'm just saying, at the beginning of the season, no one predicted SGA would win MVP.
I mean, I didn't predict he would win off the beginning. I'm saying based off how he played.
The trends over the season.
Because he took next year to another level. And he was MVP caliber last year. So you can say the same thing for Jokic, though. So it's not like you can't. But
Jokic could have easily won MVP.
Easily. But the votes was pretty different, though. I think at 71 first place votes, like 29, something like that. So SGA got a significant advantage this year. But Joker's a 3-time MVP still.
Yeah, and I think it was more like what do you call it? Voters fatigue. So
I still think Jokic is the best player in the game. Honestly, in my opinion, I just don't think there's nothing you can do. Like, I'm surprised in that Game 7. Like, Caruso had such an impact on him. And that showed a flaw, I guess, in how to guard him in the future, about maybe putting a smaller on him than funneling him to bigs. Maybe that's something better.
Well, listen, you still need a 1-2. I think, I think Joker got a huge pass for his game in games. What was that, Game 7?
Yeah, Game 7.
I think he got a huge pass for that.
He did. He didn't really get a lot of criticism. He did.
But I also think that Jamal Murray didn't do him any favors.
No.
So, we say the Batman and Robin theory all day. His Robin didn't come to play.
No.
So,
and OKC's a better team. We just have to be straight up. It's a better team.
Yes, but let's also look at it how the game is called. You alluded to SGA getting foul calls. Listen, what I've been noticing, the trend over the past few games in the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, the refs are letting them play.
Yeah, this
letting them play.
This playoff series is the most physical I've seen in years.
Letting them play.
It's very physical.
Whereas Joker gets the benefit of a whistle plenty of times, they were like, nah. Whereas Rick Brunson gets, the benefit of a whistle. I mean, let's call it what it is.
I like it, though. I feel like it should be that way.
I do too.
It should be that way.
Too.
I don't like the when you get people getting bumped and you just go into the line no matter what. Like, I hate that. It's like, come on,
the flailing and the And the arguing every time down the court. This is a new generation.
That's why I know if you won't get into this because I had a take the other day about Doncic. I had Luka. I told him he's not a top 5 player to me no more because of his being horrible defensively. And I'm like, there's no way you're that good offensively, but the team's game plan is to go at you every time. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And you're 6'7", and you have the capability to guard. So how can I see you top 5?
The thing is this, though. When you start talking about guys that are top 5, right? If you look at the guys that are top 5 now, and we can argue this all day, there's no elite defender in the top 5 players, right?
Elite, no. But right. Solid, yes.
You're going to say the Greek Freak is a solid defender.
I'll say he's good.
He's probably
he's a good
if
defender.
you name a top 5, he's probably going to be the best defender in that top 5.
But he's a defensive player of the year candidate, so that's like he's up there.
Most guys that are elite offensively, they are average to above average defenders. They're not great defenders, and that's just off the premise of how the game is played now. Games played differently. You got zone. You play. They call a foul every time you touch somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't know what necessarily elicits a great defender. People are like, oh, Rudy Gobert is a great defender. He's tall. You know what I mean? He's tall. He's a big guy. He takes up a lot of space. He could defend the rim, but is he the best defender? Is he like an elite defender? No, I wouldn't classify.
Yeah, no, he's so it's so weird to me because like he is 4 defensive player years, and he's like. You can scheme so easily against him, so easily to where he's unplayable.
40 points against him.
Like he's not like it's one of the biggest things in NBA. Like this guy is supposed to be the best defender in the league, premier defender, and he can't even play sometimes because of defense.
But again, if you look at the better defenders, even across all time, when they started giving out the award, those guys that are defensive players of the years, for the most part, they're not top 5 players. They're not overall. They're not top 5.
Well, I'm not asking you to be Kawhi Leonard, like one of the few that's actually great on both ends. I mean, I'm not asking you to be that.
Kawhi now?
I mean, when he's healthy, Kawhi isn't great as he was defensively, but what I am saying is Doncic is literally a blow by and a breakdown.
Yeah, he's like Harden, plays no defense.
Yes, so that's why I can't put him in that. Tatum, he'll sit down and guard. And
Tatum's a good defender.
He sit down and guard,
Tatum,
and he'll give you 30. He'll sit down and guard.
Those are really solid defenders.
SGA will sit down and guard. He
plays the passing lanes very well too.
He can good steals.
I want to tell you, he's top 5 or 10.
Yeah. Yes, he is. About over a steal a game, or steal and a half a game. He's good at that.
So there you go.
People that are active defensively, even Jokic, who wasn't a good defender coming in, he's gotten better to where he's at least. You don't got to take him off the floor,
right?
He's present. Right. So, but Doncic, it's like Randall saw him and said, I'm getting to the basket. If you don't jump or you don't stay in front of me, I'm going to lay the ball up. I'm going to pass it out to a shooter, then he'll collapse.
Yeah, it's the exertion of the offensive side of the ball with a lot of these guys.
And it's not good because everything you give me on one end, we're taking it away from you when you're giving it back up the other end. It doesn't make much sense to me. It's like you're evening it out. You're not a plus.
What I'm saying, you got to make offensive guys work on defense.
Yes, and that's with Doncic. That's why I was like, top 5 to me. I don't know about that because I know Tatum, I know SGA, I know Jokic. They're all going to be better than you defensively and give me the output that you're giving me. 100%. Giannis, same thing.
100%.
They're going to give me, and then I keep on going with other names I could throw. Even guys like Steph, like he's 38 years old, and I know
play the passing lane.
Play the passing lane, and he'll sit down and guard. I've watched him in the playoffs sit down and guard. Unfortunately got hurt because out of that Minnesota series, if he plays, I think that goes way differently, by the way. This is my opinion because I don't know. Game 1, he plays 13 minutes, 13 points, and they win game 1. He's out the whole series. Minnesota take. I promise you, way better matchup for OKC.
Oh, yeah, without question.
Yeah.
Without question.
So that's just my thing for Steph. But back to the original topic for like SGA, I would think he would be a top 5 player, and he is a top 5 player already. But as far as best player in the world, winning the championship, I just take Jokic over him just because of how unstoppable he is offensively. Like the best pass in the game can give you 30 points. Along with that,
yeah, I mean,
best you could argue best rebound in the game as well.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I can argue it. And Giannis, you give it Giannis. You have guys like that, but
his effect. Listen, Joker's effect on the game is a real thing. He doesn't have the smoothest, silkiest looking game.
No.
but productivity wise, when it matters, yeah, I'm going to give him that. I'm not going to say he's the best defender, best rebounder in the game. Look, he's 7 feet. Mm-hmm. In my mind, you 7 foot. If you playing over 30 minutes a night, you should average 10 rebounds. I don't care what you say. 10 boards in your sleep. Right. Cat does that in his sleep. You know,
I wouldn't say in his sleep. Not in this series. I mean, he was.
Look at the rebounds this guy's had. You look at a guy like that, and you like, wait a minute, he had 25 and 17, and you don't really see the effect of the game.
Yeah.
So rebounding to me, and rebounding is another thing. I have this conversation with a lot of my friends. We talk basketball. Rebounds is an overinflated stat.
Okay.
That's a firm belief I have. That's great that you rebound. You got to understand, we're in a generation of analytics where teams put up 100 plus shots a game.
Right.
If you're on the court for 30, 40 minutes,
you should.
You put up 100 shots a game. If you shoot 50%, right, and then you miss 50 shots, you as being one of the tallest guys on the court should have got at least 8 to 10 of those rebounds.
Yes.
Sorry, I think rebound. I'm not diminishing it. I'm just saying. We look at rebounding from guys that have the height, crash the boards, and I get it. Josh Hart, he's another one of those guys like, oh, he gets a lot of rebounds. Yo, when a team is putting up 100 plus shots a game, whereas also they're putting up more 3-pointers a game, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be more rebounds.
It is a skill, though, because you bring up Josh Hart. That's a guy that religiously
crashes the board.
Yes, that is a skill. I'll say that for sure.
Definitely.
And having a nose for the ball. So absolutely.
That's his game.
Yeah.
We said that about Westbrook for years, right? As a guard, you got one of the best rebounding guards. Dwayne Wade, one of the best rebounding guards. They're crashing the boards. Right, I think the pace of the game is so fast now. I think the nature of the game is jump shooting now. Right, there's not a lot of shots at the rim, so naturally there'll be more rebounds out there. That's what I'm saying.
So I want to get into the other side of it. If the Pacers win this series, if that happens, and forget who walks away with MVP. That doesn't really matter to me because the Pacers do it as a unit. You see, Siakam wins MVP of the Eastern Conference, so they do it as a unit. So forget if the Pacers win a championship. What are we saying about Halliburton? And we can get to the topic: is he a superstar, quote unquote? Because just tell me what you think, because I have my own thoughts on it. But if they win, what will you classify him as?
First of all, if they win, it's going to be because of him. He's going to be a main reason. He's the floor general, right? So in my mind, if the Pacers are going to win, Halliburton has to put up at least 25 a night.
Right.
He cannot turn the ball over. Going back to that game 4. Halliburton puts up 35, 10, and 12 with no turnovers.
Right.
That's unheard of. Having that much control over the rock to not turn the ball over, and I've shot it that many times, I've passed it that many times, have rebounded it that many times, and not have a turnover, that's unheard of. Is he a superstar if they win? I'm going to say it depends because it depends
on the series he has.
Yeah,
right?
It depends on the series. He can average 15 assists a game in this series, but score like 10. I wouldn't classify him as a superstar. He's going to contribute. But if he averages, a damn near triple-double and he's scoring when it matters, and it's all about time.
He's closing the game.
If he's closing the game, you got to argue that. I'm not so quick to throw that label superstar out there.
Yeah.
Because what are the confines of that? What's the what I mean?
What's the tier of a superstar, right? You got to argue what that is now.
I don't really know, but I'll tell you this. There's 30 teams in the league. 28 teams are sitting home right now. 2 teams in the final.
Very true.
So he's played, in my mind, in the playoffs, a few games he's played elite basketball.
Yep.
So you got to give a guy like that credit.
So I feel like the label superstars are being thrown away very loosely. Like I feel like there are not 10 superstars in the league. There's more of like 7. I'll say 7-ish. There shouldn't be that many. There are superstars. There are all-stars. When we mean superstar, we mean guys that like not only are they the best player on your team,
they propel their team. They make their team better.
Yeah, they make their team better, and then they're faces of the league or gonna be there. Like Giannis, undoubtedly a superstar because production last 3 years over 30 a game with 10 rebounds, an MVP, a champion, a defensive player of the year. superstar.
Showed up in big moments.
Yes, that is a superstar. Are we going to put Halliburton in that? See, people are people are calling him a superstar already because of his playoff experience. Like, for example, guys, he's had great games. Like you just talked about, the 35, the 10, the 12, no turnovers, elite game, historic game. Then he'll have a game before that where what did he shoot? Took 7 shots.
He's got what I want to say. He's got a passive bone in him.
Yeah, he's never going to be an elite scorer. That's not his game. He's a playmaker, right. And when he scores along with that, he becomes dangerous. But that doesn't make him. He's a good upcoming player, but he is not a superstar to me. If he wins this championship, like I said, depends on what he does. If he averages 28 and 12, we can have you come talk to me again. I might change my tune. But as of right now, and because I don't think he will do that, especially not against OKC's defense, I can't call him that. He's a very good player on a very good team.
Titles, man.
We cannot confuse a winning unit, a winning team, and the best player on that team with being a superstar.
It's titles, man.
Because Booker was the best player on the Phoenix Suns and averaging 28 and losing, you know? So if just because he's winning games, does that mean Booker wasn't a superstar back then? I don't even think he's a superstar now. He's just a very good all-star, high-level player. But he's not – can't confuse winning with –
So, all right, who's a superstar now? We already said Giannis, right?
Giannis. Jokic, 100%, a superstar, an MVP, multiple-time MVP. He just averaged 30 a game this year. He has won a championship, a Finals MVP.
Is Rick Brunson a superstar?
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. Why I keep calling him his father's name?
Yeah.
Is Jalen Brunson a superstar?
Jalen Brunson, to me,
careful.
If you called him
careful,
listen, but if I want to stay consistent, I will say no, he's not a superstar in this league. But if you told me you thought Jalen Brunson was a superstar, I would understand that more because of what he's done for the Knicks and his production. I don't ever have to question, is Jalen Brunson going to give me 30 tonight? Is Jalen Brunson going to be there at the end of the game? I don't got to question that. I can question that with Halliburton. And I'm not going to always look at Halliburton and be like, hey, is he going to take me there? He's had his moments. But there are games where Jalen Brunson you will lose the game and you'll look at the stats. Well, Brunson has 31 points, 9 assists, and they're down 8. But he's doing his job. Now, he doesn't have the accolades. He's in New York, so that helps. And he has all the New Yorkers on his side. And he's on a big market and performing. But if I'm being consistent, I can't call him that because he hasn't taken him there or had the accolades to match. So, but he's in a great market and he's producing. So if anyone would get that, I'd give it to Jalen Brunson before Halliburton. So the fact that people are trying to give Halliburton a superstar thing, I know back-to-back Eastern Conference championships, I get it. But superstar is for divine air. He's not there yet. And if I can't give it to Brunson, you can't give it to Tyrese Halliburton.
I mean, I don't know. Some of this is media driven. Mm-hmm. Some of this is a lot of people just don't like the way his game looks. Some of it is he plays in a small market, right?
I mean, Giannis does too, but you have to give it to Giannis.
Yeah, but Giannis is a freak, right? He's 7 feet. You know, got a 7'8" wingspan, something crazy like that. Elevated his game.
But SGA, let's say SGA is someone his height.
SGA superstar.
I could give it to him. You know why? 3rd year averaging over 30. Now he's in the finals. If he wins and gets the finals MVP, that cements it for me. And he, like I said, he's the best player on the best team.
Let's look at what I want to know. What are Halliburton's year stats? Like, what are his stats?
He's a guy that'll give you 17, 18 in the season, and he'll give you 9+ assists. In the playoffs, around the same efficiency, like about a 40% shooter from 3, 48%. He's a good player.
18.6 points a game.
Tell me if this sounds like a superstar.
3.5 rebounds. 9.2 assists a game.
Right.
Shoots 38% from the 3. 1.4 steals a game. Now, here's where I think he's very interesting. How many turnovers do you think he averaged this year?
I'll say he's a low turnover guy, so I'll say 1.5. He's not a big turnover guy. 1.5
for a point guard though. When you start looking at a point guard averaging 1.5 turnovers a game,
that's very good. It is very good. Trust me.
That's what I'm saying. So I think we look at stats and we like, well, he doesn't put up 30, but he's not really there to put up 30. You understand what I'm saying?
Did you think Chris Paul was a superstar when he was in his prime and he was doing that, what he was giving you around that?
Yeah.
You thought he was a superstar?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not even questioning that. Charlotte Hornets, Chris Paul was a superstar. Without question.
But he was way better on defense, though. So it's like he was an all-time defender for like 8-9 years. So it's
I
like
don't think Halliburton's horrible.
He's not
defense.
horrible, but he's not all defense.
I'm not, but again, I'll repeat to you, there are not a lot of great, and let me not use the word great. There are not a lot of good defenders in the league. Period. Good. And I'm talking about average.
Yeah, half of them on OKC. Half of them are on OKC.
Not a lot of good. Yeah. Think about the last. So there's 4 teams that made it to Eastern Conference Finals. Denver. Who's a good defender on Denver? Gordon.
He's their best guy.
Okay, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's a good defender on OKC? Hardenstein.
SJ is a good defender. Jaiden Williams, all defensive team. He's a great defender.
You got that,
Jalen Williams,
right.
Caruso, great defender.
They so much, as going back to your point, they have the more solid team.
Yeah.
On the Knicks, who's a good defender?
Supposedly Bridges. OG Anunoby is a good defender.
He's okay, yeah. And OG's okay. Yeah. I mean, they have spots. I think that we classify these guys as good defenders because we don't know what defense looks like anymore. I'm sorry. Like, that's just me. I don't think that, I'm talking, now I don't want to say back in the days, but I've seen guys lock guys down.
Yeah.
You are not locking a player down in this era, Bull. You're not locking a good player down. You're not. He may have an off night. He may put up 20. He may have 17. A guy that averages 25 may have 17. But you're not locking him down.
I'll say you're not, like, for example, I'll give you a good example. Amen Thompson, right? In the Houston series against Steph. There was a game, or there's been games, where he shut Steph down. Games. Not for the series because Steph Curry, and he will figure it out. But that's the closest to I'll see as a player single-handedly taking another player out of it. But you're not taking no superstar out for like Steph. That's superstar. And once again, another guy. He's not as the best as he used to be. But I tell you this, once again, best player on a contending team. We both know that they could have gone way farther. He didn't get hurt, especially when they added Butler. Now that guy's the champion. We don't got to go through that. Multiple-time MVP. Don't got to get through that. The guy was still giving you 30 in playoff series. He's 38 years old. Production didn't drop in the playoffs. We've seen what he did in those 13 minutes. He was giving it the work to the Timberwolves.
Again, though, we're still stuck on the offensive side of the ball.
But I'll take Steph defensively as well. If he's more experienced, he's stronger built than Halliburton, and I believe I've watched him get clutch stops before. I've watched him do it. And I'm not saying that he's great.
Steph is a willing defender.
Yes, he is. And that's what I'm saying, superstar. These are guys that have done it, are still doing it, and that you would take above Halliburton right now. I didn't name one guy that you wouldn't take above him.
Nah, all day. I'd take Jalen Brunson over him. I'd take Steph over him. Most guys I'd take over him.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, why he has moments like he sent home Cleveland. That was huge, and we might talk about. I have to talk about that one later. But he did a lot of great things, and he is gonna get a lot of props, even if he loses his finals. But superstar, that word has to go.
I'm not quick to call anybody a superstar. I'm not quick to call anybody great, and I don't care what your name is. That's just me.
Right.
Like I said, how many superstars are in the league? You said 7.
I'll say 7.
I think it's probably less than that.
See, if I'm going to say Steph, that means he's probably 5th, 6th best player right now. And Steph is a superstar to me. Would you still call LeBron James superstar right now? Is he still a superstar to you? I think he is. Now, is he obviously not what he used to be?
Is he a superstar because he's LeBron, or is he a superstar because of his productivity?
He's both. I can't lie and not say it's just one. It's both. It's because it's LeBron James, but both. When LeBron James is on the court, he's a top 3 decision maker. We know this. Once he will make the best play. Now he's not guarding like that no more, and I'll concede that. Like if you told me what a superstar, I would not be mad at you. But I'll say if you were to tell me that there was 7 guys that I would take over LeBron James, I don't know if that's the case. You know, he's not top 5 anymore.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I'm not taking 7 guys, and he has credentials, and like I said, he's done it. So superstar. So Halliburton, who hasn't done it, is just coming to the party. He's iffy on offense.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What does Halliburton have to do to be a superstar?
Like I said, win this championship, beat this as the underdog, win and beat this team. Come talk to me. And what do you do? And then what do you do? Oh, okay, so forget it. Forget that. What do you do in this finals? If you average 28 and 10 and
he's
7,
not that guy, though, Jay. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, so that's fine.
He'll have one game where he's going to give you 30.
Yes.
Outside of that, he's going to give you 15, 17, 18. But he's also going to give you 12, 14 assists.
And I can't roll with that because it's not like he's Magic Johnson where he was like he wasn't scoring.
But wait, though.
He's not.
You know, my buddy, shout out to my man Mark, he always has this idea and this notion that even though a guy gets you 18, if he gives you 12 assists, he just gave you 40. Like, because those assists translate to buckets.
Yes.
So you got to take that in perspective.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys that average 15 points, but Steve Nash, he never was going to average 30 a game, but he going to get you 15 assists. He going to get you 14 assists. That off the rip is 30 points. Off the rip is 30 points. So he's accounting for all these other points by virtue of his game.
See, okay, then what about this? Look at a guy like Trae Young. This guy will give you 12 assists a night, and he'll give you the 30 inefficiently, which is why it's like inefficiently. Yeah. Yes, but my thing is, Halliburton won a game in the playoffs where he took 7 shots. If I got Trae Young, I know he's getting up 25 shots. I know that, you know, but he also give you those same assists, and I would never classify him as a superstar. So now, if I'm asking who to take, I'll take Halliburton, obviously, because I like the efficiency. And he can give me those same assists. And I like that he's bigger, and not completely nothing on defense. I like that.
Yeah. I like Halliburton's lack of
turnovers. Yes, that is very good. But I just don't think that's superstar. You know, that's just out. He's an all-star caliber player. You might can argue he's all NBA. He all third team this year, right? Third team. Mm-hmm. Yes. He's right. He's getting there. Not yet. What is he? 24? Like
something like that.
Like
he's young.
Give him some time. Let's not give him this word yet. He wasn't LeBron James coming in and became that's not him. And you know, if you have if and buts about his game, he's probably not a superstar. All the guys I named, you have no if and buts about his game. Even Brunson, I know he's gonna take you there. You know, Mr. Clutch Player of the Year. Come on, man. Come on. There's levels to this.
But he ain't do that in the last game. Just saying.
I'll give you that. But the guy been doing
roughed up.
The guy been doing everything, and at some point, Karl Towns got to be better. Bridges got to be better. 5 first-round picks for this guy, and he might not even be your 4th best player?
It's hard, man. I mean,
I don't know.
Brunson dribbles the air out of the ball. It's hard. That's a hard sell. That's all I can say.
So for the Knicks, though, let's get into them since we're talking about the Knicks.
Right.
Tibbs is gone, right? And he's gone. And I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about it. In a way,
What you mean you don't know how to feel about it?
Because it's like people say it's unfair, and yeah, it's a little unfair. But you gotta. It is a business, and I'm telling you right now, if they get Malone, I'm not mad at Mike Malone in New York.
No. Listen, I say this: why did Mike Malone get fired? So. I think I
wouldn't have fired him.
Yeah, allegedly there was something within the locker room. I think we're creatures of the moment, prisoners of the moment. We should say. I think in New York's managerial mind, they did not want to go forward with Thibs. I think that they felt Thibs' voice and his philosophy was outdated. I think that they think that, him burning his players out is problematic. but you got to give them a little bit more resources. They allocated a lot of money with that starting five. So Mike Malone,
money and assets,
although it sounds good because he's got a championship, right? The question then becomes, how do you still need the chips, you still need the players. So what is it about Mike Malone's philosophy that's going to make this work? That's my question.
See, I just think there's levels to coaching, and I feel like there's players that have done it before and that haven't. Sorry, coach has done it before.
Right,
Malone has been there. He's won a championship, and it'll be a completely different roster. But
will it?
Yeah, because Jokic is the best player in the world, and he'll be coaching a team with a lot of scrappy young guys.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
This is be a different roster.
I'm thinking that you're talking about the turnover that's going to come with the Knicks, or the potential turnover that could come with the Knicks, moving into next year.
No. The roster's going to be the same because they can't do anything because they traded all the assets with that Bridges trade.
I think they're going to trade somebody.
If Towns is probably your only piece, you want to keep OG because you have to keep some form of defense. And Bridges has been a disappointment, honestly, because he's the guy you sent all the assets for. So
again, it is hard to get a level of consistency with the philosophy, with that offensive philosophy. Jalen Brunson dribbled the life out of the ball. Pass it to somebody while the shot clock is running down because you dribbled the life out of the ball.
Yes.
Hard for Mikal Bridges to get any type of consistency.
That is fair, but I can't lie. A lot of his shots are his shots. Like he's taking shots he wants. I'm seeing him taking the shots he wants, open or not. And he is just not a guy we pay 5 first-round picks for. That's the type of Davis Doncic trade. Outside of Davis, I think there was 1 first-round pick, just one. 5 first-round picks. That's 5 generational players that you're just passing on. Now, if you see with that HJ Paul George trade, one of those picks turns into Jalen Williams. That's like you can't. For Mikal Bridges, now listen, he's a good player. Mikal Bridges is not worth 3 of them.
Okay, but yes and no. So the problem is that everything I keep saying is not about the player. You come down to market value. What is the market value of players, or a player of this ilk, or a player that puts up 15 and 8 a night, 16 and 8 a night? What's the market value? Guys are being paid. You can't always classify how good or what a player is worth based off of how they're playing per se, because it's a market value thing. So I'm a little careful when putting that out there like that. Oh, well, they traded 3 first round. Yeah, but a lot of you got to remember, a lot of GMs don't believe in the draft. They don't believe in building a draft. I mean, Sam Presti obviously does, but they don't believe in drafting. They want to get players that are, accomplished already.
I will say he came from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is not going to want to help the New York Knicks, so I guess they did overprice him a little bit. But like I said, as far as coaching, even that's not even Tibbs' fault. That's Leon Rose. That's up there. That's them. That's them with that. So my thing is just like Tibbs getting fired. I didn't like how he burns out. He has to use his bench. He has to, and he doesn't use his bench. And that
philosophy,
and that philosophy that he goes with. It's not winning basketball because at the end of the day, your players will be more tired. I think the stat was like 700 more minutes than the other team, and that's too much on one team. Brunson, about at Game 6, I can't kill him. He's playing so much more minutes than Halliburton.
Well, remember he gave Brunson a blow. Pause.
Yeah,
he sat him down. Game 3, I feel like Tibbs threw the kitchen sink at everybody. Know what I mean? He subbed some people in. He put DeLon Wright in. He put Shaman in.
Like, and they were pluses too. So imagine if he's done that the whole season. Listen, they weren't negatives to the point where it's like there was some crazy stat where Brunson.
Not until the last game they were negative. So.
Listen, if you played them throughout the season, who knows what you would have had? You just throwing them out there. I don't think I've seen DeLon Wright in 6 months. Like you haven't seen this guy play. So.
That was definitely a reach.
Yeah. So it's like you're putting them in playoff action when they haven't even had a regular season action.
Definitely a reach with those guys.
Like I said, his philosophy is just Tibbs is just a guy who sticks by it, and I guess you got to get what you got to get with him. So I guess moving him is like, if he wasn't going to change, you got to move him.
No, that's what it is. I think they just got, like I said, tired of the voice, tired of the philosophy. I think they think Mike Malone, because he's got that chip, they're like,
he's out there, like he's needed.
Yeah, we don't want that guy to get hired by anybody else. I'm thinking it's Mike Malone.
Yeah, it has to be. I wouldn't, because honestly, there's no other better coach outside of Tibbs, honestly. And I'm saying, like, yes, you might not like his philosophy, but he improved the Knicks every year. Every 100%. Year, the Knicks got better, and you can't take that away from him. He
100%. Did
his job. Now, he might not like how he did it, but has a positive record in the playoffs. You think he's 100 games over
something
the
like that.
500 in the regular season. He's winning basketball games in New York.
Yeah.
New York used to be a laughingstock for decades.
Yeah.
Since Tibbs has been there, since Brunson's been there, they have been a very who think there was going to be Boston? Now, Boston, granted, Porzingis was sick the entire time. That's my guy. Porzingis has been sick. That guy was, I feel so bad for him.
Nobody thought they were going to be Boston.
Nobody
thought.
Tatum gets the tragic injury.
Yeah, but that series was over before Tatum died.
I hate people that say that. Boston came back from 3-0 against Miami. That series was never over. At no point.
Right. But let me say this. He got hurt with 3 minutes, I believe, left in game 4.
And it would have been 3-1. Yes.
In game 4.
And it would have been 3-1. Okay. And Boston goes back and wins game 5. They run out of gas in that game 6.
So they were going to lose game 4, period.
Yes. They would have been 3-1. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Remember, they come back from 3-0 against Miami.
The trend, though, the difference is here, the trend was, Boston shot themselves out of the series.
Yeah, they couldn't make shots.
Arrogant basketball. Yeah. They didn't play smart basketball. So I'm not.
But you got to understand how big Porzingis is for this team. Porzingis is the guy that makes them unbeatable. Like, he's literally that guy. And he was, this illness that he got, they still don't even know what it is. And it's like, breaks my heart because it's one of my favorite players.
I know, trust me.
I don't know what's going on. But
Scott Porzingis.
Yeah, but the guy is like, he couldn't do anything. Like, he's giving you 4 and 5. Like, he's playing 18 minutes. Like, that's your third best player on most nights. Literally.
Sometimes your second best player.
Yeah. And it's like, he's not there. And now you don't have that to fall back on. Now you got to rely on Tatum to either be great, which he was.
But I'm still, Scott, they shot themselves out of it.
Yeah, but they live and die by the 3. So if they would have been bad those first couple games, those next couple games, they probably would have shot 50% from 3. Like, that's just how it goes with them, And that's been them all season. That's why they lose games to a Memphis or just
100%.
because they're gonna shoot threes. And if they're not missing, they can lose. They're susceptible to lose.
100%.
And the Knicks, like I said, no joke.
100%.
No joke. And with Brunson at the end of the game, advantage Knicks every time. Because at the end of the day, they're going to shoot the 3. There was a possession where he shot 12 straight threes.
And they let Brunson off the hook defensively. They didn't run anybody at him.
They didn't run the post as much as they ever should have. It was just all 3-point line. But like I said, when Porzingis went out, Brown, I look at Brown a little differently. Like, he did have a great game 5. He was great game 5. They said he had a meniscus tear, so I'm like, so much you could say, but like I said, I wish I would have gotten more from him, honestly. But but with Tibbs being gone, like I said, I can see how people say it's unfair because he did improve them every year. But it's a business at the end of the day, and Malone is the better coach, in my opinion. So if they get
Malone,
yeah.
In my mind, I think they let Tibbs go because they're looking at it like, Malone is a once in a lifetime hire.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're gonna hire him, but that's my logic.
Yeah. But they have to get him because if they don't, and they lose Tibbs, ain't nobody out there. No, Eric Spoelstra's not coming over there.
I don't know who's out there.
Eric Spoelstra's not coming over there. You're not getting Steve Kerr is locked down forever. I'm trying to think of coaches that are better than Tibbs. Like, you're not Rick Carlisle. He ain't going nowhere. Like, you're not gonna find a better coach on the market.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Better than that.
I agree with that. Right now, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Unless there's some young guy, young assistant. I think the Suns just hired somebody. They hired the Cavs assistant.
Yes, they got the Cavs assistant, yes. So anyone on Cleveland now is just going to get best seed in the East. They're just getting their stock raised. So, and in Phoenix, God, they're a mess. Oh, my God. So then we can go to this question now. This is one of the last questions we're going to get into.
Yep.
The biggest disappointment in the playoffs so far. What team? Now, Phoenix in the playoffs this year? They didn't make no playoffs. No, they're home. No. So I won't even... We could go into the as a season because they're a mess.
Wait, did Phoenix make the playoffs?
No,
but that just goes to show you how irrelevant they were. But I can tell you right now,
I don't even think they made the offs this year. I don't think so.
Let's go with the playoffs.
Phoenix, oh man, I don't know what to say about that. That is really a mess. Like that might be. It's not worse than what happened in Brooklyn because
they did not make the playoffs.
That might be worse than Brooklyn because Brooklyn was competitive that one year, and that toe with Giannis and with Kevin Durant, it was rough. But oh man, I don't know.
Biggest disappointment to me?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Easily, in my mind, it's got to be the Lakers. Easily,
really.
You made a big splash trade, so it's not because that they lost per se. It's how they lost. They only won one game. They're like, we forget that.
They got beat up.
They won one game.
They got beat
with
up.
Luka and LeBron. If at the beginning of that series, I'm like, this could go either way, right? But the loser, either which way it went, whether it was whether it was Minnesota or the Lakers to only win one game, no.
See, with the Lakers, I didn't think they were going to win championship regardless.
I didn't either, but again, we're talking about disappointment and the way they bowed out that quickly.
See, look.
They were banished quick.
See, okay, I got you. And Lakers were definitely favored. But here's what I'm going to say to you. Doncic, this is what I said about Doncic. He's going to give you points. He's going to give you rebounds. He's going to give you assists.
Copy.
He's giving everything back on defense. He's giving everything back. So whatever you see him, it's they're going at it. That's what Boston did to him.
Right.
Boston went at him. I don't know why they didn't do it to Brunson, but like I said, they went at Luka every single time.
Right.
That's why he fouled out in that game 3 in Dallas.
Yep.
Going at him every time. So he's not gonna guard, man. He's not. So
again, I hear you, but
then you have no center.
First of all, for me, it's the seismic shock of the trade in itself.
Yeah.
You woke up. First of all, they traded him in the middle of the night. Everybody woke up like, Luka got traded to the Lakers.
I seen it live. I was like, what is going on here?
Right.
Like, yeah.
So he gets traded. So it's okay. I get traded. I'm playing with LeBron and this fanfare, his jersey sales. They lose. And they get the first they get the third overall pick or something like that. Dallas got the third overall pick.
Dallas is number 1.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They got
so Dallas looks so good, right? Listen.
I'm not even going to say nothing. That's a whole other conversation.
Look how Dallas looks right now. They trade away Luka, who they couldn't get to play any defense, and still won't, honestly, until I see otherwise.
And strangely enough, they go and they're going to draft Cooper.
They're going to draft Cooper Flag. They still have Davis. Irving is still a star guard in this league. He's not... And you have a team with 2 bigs with Gafford and Lively. You still got them. You didn't trade them to L.A. You didn't even put them in the trade. The Lakers needed a center that bad. They couldn't get any of those centers off you. They still got the 2 bigs that are both starting bigs in this league. With Davis, with Flag, they're going to develop.
Flag, sorry.
You don't got to be a fan of him. He's a young, talented guy that's going to stay there and develop around 2 superstars. That is going. You don't have to move him. You don't have to do nothing.
Nothing elite about that kid. That's just me.
I need to see him in NBA.
Nothing elite about him.
I need to see him in NBA.
What does he do that jumps off the page?
See, I think he does everything else solid. He's not bad at no category. But this draft is not that great to me either. It's not a great draft to me. So I feel like him being No. I feel like
this is probably the best draft in years. Now, wait, that's not saying much. As far as depth, but I think this is the best draft in a while.
Depth, yes. I mean, when I mean best draft, I mean like guys that you're like, okay, this guy like is going to make an impact immediately.
That's what I'm saying.
Edwards, Morant came into the league. We knew when those guys came into the league, they were going to be face of franchises.
True.
Cooper Flag, we don't look at like that. So it's like, at least not yet. You feel me? So that's what I mean. Like, I don't see a guy, Zion, even though, like I said, talented. He's talented. He just can't stay on the court. We know when Zion plays, the guy's shooting 60%.
Yeah.
He gonna shoot 60%. But I don't see that. That's not that hype I get from anyone in this draft. I don't get nobody. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, you get them. You got a cornerstone. I think Flag is a great piece that you can add into an already team that's gonna be so much better.
This is true.
So much gonna be better. And you get off Luka. That was a big ass contract that you was gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
And he was going to want $300 million, and you had to probably pay him more. Listen, If Brown is making $350 million, what do you think Luka was going to make when it's listen?
But that goes back to your point. Luka got exposed, man.
Yep.
Again, going back to your original question, biggest disappointment. Yo, you got a guy that you thought and Luka was supposed to be this generational player, but he plays no defense.
None.
Now the Lakers got to decide: are you giving that guy that bag?
They have to. They have to because Bron is out the door in a couple years, and that is
He
your
got
guy.
opt out after this year, I think.
Yeah, he could be done this year. There's really no point. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. So
yeah,
you're not. Look at the West. You're not going to win. I'm telling you right now.
So wait. Let's spin this back. Who's your biggest